Yeah,
And his lights on.
same numbers, just different appearance.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Park and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting, February 17th, 2020. We do have a quorum, and I call this meeting to order. I guess I need a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting and a second.
We've already been,
I think that was the last joint meeting.
that's what we done on this, at the beginning. wasn't
Are
it?
you making a motion?
I could make a motion.
There you go.
I second.
There we go. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? All right, so before we get started, I'd like for everyone, if you've not had the opportunity to meet him, we do have a new events coordinator in Laverne, and I meant to introduce him a while ago and I forgot. Mr. Robert, he is from Clark's Vegas.
Yeah, Clark's Vegas, yes.
Clark's Vegas. So he's ducking and dodging traffic every day.
Yes, I am. I am. That's a true story.
Well, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you.
We look forward to all the events, Robert, and from what I'm being told is you have definitely come in and took the bull by the horns and spent a lot of time with your nose in the books and computers and trying to get things going and organized, and that's what we need. So, but I'll turn it over to Mr. David, and we'll talk a little bit about as we just heard, about the survey, and we'll just move on down this list.
Yeah, and you guys have the, our numbers for the survey results up to this point. And it's basically kind of what we just went over in the master plan. So if there's anything you see on there that you would like to bring to our attention, please let us know. Tennis courts, and we'd like to look at resurfacing those in the near future, tennis courts and a basketball court. So we're trying to make a dual use out of that tennis court and maybe and line it also as a pickleball court. That way we have two options there. The tennis court does get some use, but it's not a great deal of use. So I think if we make that as a dual purpose type deal, evidently pickleball is taking off and it's the next best craze.
Pickleball.
Pickleball. It's kind of
Here we go.
Here we go, pickleball.
It's kind of like ping pong on a tennis court with an oversized paddle and a wiffle ball, similar to that.
I got my supplies. I'm ready to play.
Rock on, we're ready.
Okay. You gonna be on the other side?
Sure,
All right.
as long as I don't have to run too far. So that's something we're looking at doing in the near future.
This year,
Well, we hope so. We have some money left from the playground renovation, so we don't know. We're trying to see what we could use that wouldn't take any additional funds other than what's left over. Because there's several things that need attention. So it just depends if we have to come back before the board. We'd have to come back before the board for them to approve us to use that somewhere else. And if there's any additional funds required, they'd also have to approve that.
what's going on with the dog park? I don't see anything.
The dog park, it is turned over to Reagan and Smith. They're gonna handle the design of it. We were gonna do that in-house, but I think our engineering team is short-staffed, and they don't know when that position is gonna get filled.
But we got the money.
We've got the grant, yes, sir. And the rest, there's some money in the stormwater fund that should cover the majority of the rest of it. Once the design is made, city staff can do the majority of the construction on it.
You can be cutting down a lot of trees up there too, right?
Well, we're gonna pick and choose, you know, because it's so, we're gonna go in and try to take out the scrub and keep the bigger stuff for shade. But yeah, it's a pretty dense area over there, so it'd have to be cleared off, yes, sir.
And how is our baseball thing doing, Dave?
I'll turn that over to Kathy. She may have do you have the results? She looked shocked when I said that, because I know we were talking about it.
I was thinking you was going to say Melissa, because Melissa was here before. I did talk to Melissa last week, and I know that she said they had a little over 100 signups.
How much?
A little over 100, which is,
It's better than they
it's-
were in the spring and, more than double than it's better than they were in the fall and more than double what they had last spring. So I
And
think
there's-
it's heading in the right direction.
and they're still doing signups, and a lot of people tend to sign up at the last minute, so.
You know, it's sad, years ago, we had thousands of kids up there.
Yeah, and we'd like to see that grow, and I think the more consistent that the organization becomes and the more familiar the community becomes with them, I think what killed us was rotating in and out different leagues.
I think you're right. I think that hurt us. But I had an interesting conversation with somebody today, somebody that works for the city of Nashville. And she is involved in this deal with the soccer down there and the race car. And she made a very good point to me that I hadn't thought about, but once I sat back and thought about it, I thought, boy, you're right. The so-called millennial type, we'll say 30 and under, giving them the benefit. Back when we was years ago, you know as well as I do, Dave, 20, 25 years ago, Mr. Bob, everybody was into football, baseball, basketball. But now the mindset of a lot of kids, a lot of them, is soccer. So a lot of kids are and a lot of parents are waiting to see about where can my kids sign up for soccer and stuff. So I think with the master plan there and hopefully getting a soccer field here and stuff, I think we're going to find that it's going to be, especially with the diversity that we have in our city with the different ethnic groups. Am I saying that right?
Very multicultural, yes.
Multicultural, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's a market we should have ventured into a long time ago. I think it's probably one of the easier things we can get into. I'd like to see it here by next spring. I think that's very doable because we've got the football field that sits vacant.
You
So
said this spring or
next spring,
next spring?
yeah, because we're in February now. So hopefully by January of next year, we could start having soccer signups for that spring season.
It just seems to have, in the last 5, 6, 8 years, it just seems to have become a thing, it's not about getting out there and hitting kids and,
Is that one of the questions on the survey? Soccer?
Yes, it's on there.
Okay, good, good.
yeah, so.
Which one?
But anyway, getting back to baseball, I hope it goes as well as can, but I really believe that if soccer ever hits here and we get the fields and everything, I think you're going to see a lot of kids playing soccer.
I did want to tune in on that. The year that we could not play, when my granddaughter played on the girls' team, we were forced to go to neighboring
Don't say it, don't say it.
And I do have to say, that program is full. They were begging for coaches, and I can tell you, a lot of the kids and families I knew from Laverne moved, and I really feel it has a lot to do with what David said. They all said there were so many changes. It's going to take a little while to get that consistency back, and people, I believe it will grow, but it's
long
going
ago
to
was that?
take.
It's been 3, 4
It's
years.
not been very long, has it?
Yeah.
When we didn't have a girls softball team available, we had to move to a different
Right,
town.
yeah, because we didn't have
That's
enough
what-
girls a few years ago, but one thing she did tell me for this new season is softball's coming back. She does have some softball teams already, enough to make at least 2 teams for a division. I don't know what all divisions, but softball is coming back gradually.
Will it ever be like it was? I don't see it.
I don't know if I don't know if it'll ever get to the 1,200, 1,400 kid mark again. I think you could do 600. I see the league continue. There's there were more kids playing ball in Laverne when I was 12 years old than we have right now. So something's not right there, you know. You're
Yeah, all
missing,
those kids there, they're grown up now.
well, not my age kids, Bob. I mean, in reference.
Yeah, but I'm
Taste.
just saying, the kids, when we had 1,200, 1,000 kids up
Yes.
there, they're all grown up
And
now.
they are, and the thing about that is, you've got to get them when they're young. So you've got to get those 4 and 5-year-old kids and let them mature through your league. You're not going to get it. It's going to be difficult to get a 12-year-old child who hasn't played baseball to
Well,
start playing
right,
ball at
Yeah,
12.
I understand that, yeah.
So I think with their numbers being up, I think it's a positive on that organization. If their numbers had started to decline, then we would be more skeptical. But with the numbers going
I
in the right,
sponsored 2 kids up there, and I don't know if they taken my price that I'm gonna pay for it. But why aren't there more younger kids here? I mean, the schools are overloaded.
and and a lot of that has got to be the league was so I don't want to say dysfunctional.
I don't think we can put a finger on one particular thing. I think it's multiple things. I think people get a bad taste. It's hard to get them back. They're not as interested in ball as they used to be. There's
And then you've got to take travel ball to an account for that too. You know,
travel ball.
that's huge business and it's a big deal. So,
I'd much rather be playing a video game, playing baseball, than out in the field in the hot sun.
That's in all the things, even the Boy Scouts.
Yeah,
the
it's
Cub Scouts.
yeah.
When I was involved, we had 100 and some kids in our pack, in our troop. And it stayed that.
I think it's just, like I said, I think it's just a multitude of things. You know, I know Kathy's grandkids, for instance. You probably got one that likes this, the other one that likes this. She don't like this. He loves it. It's not a like my kids. If one played baseball, they all played baseball.
Let me bring you back to full circle. Jaden did not want to sign up again for baseball. He wants to play soccer.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
I
That's
think that's a fabulous idea.
that lady that talked to me today, and she told me that, it's a, and I can honestly tell you, I've been around athletic things all my life. I know nothing about soccer. But does it really matter as long as that child's having fun and running and out of the house and kicking that ball? And
That's what it's all about.
that's what it's all about.
I think you've got some of the police officers, maybe sergeants or lieutenants now, who are like completely into soccer.
Yeah.
Stats is one. He'd be a really good one to talk to.
One of my grandsons plays soccer, but he's in Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it every year.
You know, back in the baseball days, when the kids were little, some of the parents would come to the game to watch little Johnny play ball and have fun and run. They'd had no idea what was going on. But little Johnny was playing ball, he was running, he was having fun, he was enjoying the kids. And that's kind of where I'd be with it. I'd go watch the kids have fun, but man, I wouldn't know. All right, we'll move on. We could talk about that all night. So the playground renovation, and I want to bring this up, David mentioned it to me a while ago. If any of yous are available Saturday, David?
Saturday, yes, sir, 10 o'clock, Saturday morning.
Saturday at 10 o'clock, we're going, this Saturday at 10 o'clock, we're going to do is it a ribbon cutting?
Yeah,
or-
it's going to be like a grand reopening and
Yeah,
ribbon cutting. We'd
At the
like you
park,
guys to be
yeah.
there. The mayor, send an invitation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen and see if they would come out. The playground company has to come back out tomorrow. They've got to install the actual zip line. There was one upright post on one of the structures that came a little defective from the factory, so they're going to address that tomorrow. But there's so many kids up there that you can't keep them all. Our original time was the first week in March. The stuff we need to do on our side is not going to be done by Saturday. We're going to repaint the benches and put new wood on those. Those won't be ready. The swing set won't be ready, but we couldn't see postponing it any further. If it's playable after we address those couple things tomorrow, we'll just open it up Saturday and let them go.
That's good. I'm excited. I know a lot of people's been asking about it, and
Yeah, I'll be up there at 10
some
o'clock.
people jumped ship today, I heard, over in it, and they had to be run off by the Vergne police, is what I heard.
They're excited
What's the-
about it.
Yeah, and you
Oh,
know, you
yeah.
can't blame them. They're out of school.
Yeah,
Degrees in
it's beautiful
February,
day,
get out.
beautiful day. Can't blame them at all. I shouldn't ask this because somebody's gonna ask me, I'm too big. What's the weight limit on that zip line?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, we need to know that, David.
Those are things we need to know. We got the Easter egg hunt coming up.
We'll turn that over to Mr. Robert.
Yeah, just real quick, on your way out, over by the door, I have posters if anyone wants to take some or help spread them out. So I do have one for the Easter egg hunt, and it's on April 4th. We are going to be working with the fire department again, and we're going to have them, after our Easter egg hunt, they're going to come out and have their bounce houses and food, and we're going to have all the fun activities going on there. But yeah, that's going to be on April 4th,
And the time?
10 a.m.
Yeah.
Have we recruited a Easter bunny?
Yes,
Okay.
we have.
I'm just curious. I guess the block party's yours too, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. The next few lines are mine, so I'll kind of go through them, and if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. But the block party is going to be on May 16th. That's going to be, I believe, 5 to 8 or 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. I believe is what I have down. But that's going to be over here, and we're going to have pretty much a community party where everyone can come together and get to know each other. We're going to have music, food vendors. We're going to open up all applications to be part of our events this Wednesday. So if it's a nonprofit group, a food vendor, any way you can be a part of the event, we're opening up applications. And so that's what that's going to be on May 16th.
What will the cost to be a vendor be?
For the block party, the block party, we're just going to allow everyone to come in and set up. This is, while I know from what it was told to me last year, this was the first time doing it. So with me being new, I'm kind of getting in here to see what the attendance is. I don't want to say, hey, we're going to charge you $20 and 10 people show up. You know, I want to make sure we're doing it fair for the vendors as well. So kind of give us to see how this year goes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna jump in real quick. I don't mean to interrupt him, but with this being Robert's first year with us, I think we're gonna let him see what we have to offer and the events we have without trying to change a whole lot up going into it, so he can at least get his feet wet, because he brings a lot of knowledge and background to it. So without making changes, he would prefer to see what he would tweak or what he would change to make every event better. You know, we can tell him, yeah, we don't have any attendance at our music for Old Timers Day, but unless he sees that and sees actually what goes on throughout the whole event, it's going to be hard for him to make any positive changes. So we're going to try to ride it out. We're going to try to make it the best we can, but also give him the opportunity to put his own spin on our events next year.
Good idea.
And with that being said, movies in the park, something I am going to add to that is we're going to have a pre-movie activity. So we're going to encourage everyone to come out a little early, and we're going to actually have just get some kids to get them active before the movie and kind of use some of that energy. But for this movie, we're doing Frozen 2, so we're going to have some kind of like Frozen, snowy type activities. And then we'll also have food vendors on site. If you don't want to bring your own food for a picnic, you'll have an opportunity to purchase food on site. And I'm expecting it's frozen, so I'm expecting that's going to be a good crowd. So that one, that's what we're looking on June 13th.
Snow cones.
There you go. Yeah, that's my.
Frozen, it's in June, we need snow cones. Get a
Exactly.
snow cone vendor,
Makes sense, don't it?
right? Bunch of blue snow cones everywhere.
Oh yeah. And then something else we're going to do too is when we get these movies, we buy the movies, and there's no point of them just sitting around collecting dust. So when you come in, you'll be able to enter in for a raffle, And at the end of the movie, once it's over, we'll announce the winner. So they'll be able to take a movie home as well. So that's something else we're going to be able to do.
Look at you.
So,
Good.
while he made the mention earlier, we're not changing things. There's still some stuff that we are going to make it. There's certain elements that we're still going to change and make more fun. You know, we're not just changing for change's sake. This is more of, you know, with my past experience in my work, that's what I've done before movies in the parks, and I've kind of seen what's worked and what hasn't worked. So I do have that experience as well.
So, as you say, you've done this before. It's what you do. It's your expertise, and I'm assuming that was in Clarksville. Whenever these things were going on, how did the city of Clarksville get it out to the people?
How, like getting advertising just for the like events and all that. Well, we had in Clarksville, while we have a Facebook presence, you know, one of the tools was not just sharing, you know, hey, we have an event this Saturday. It was making an event page so that more people can see just specific what's going on per event. But also is getting it out to the news. There's 2 news sources up there, the Leaf Chronicle and Clarksville Now. They would share it on their Facebook page. I was there over 6 years. We used to do print media, and we saw a decline in that. So we didn't really advertise. When I left, we really didn't have paper advertisements anymore. And then, you know, flyers, posters. We would work with different businesses that would allow them, but we started seeing a trend of people don't want us to put stuff in their building anymore. So we saw a trend of that happening. And then it's also, while you're at the event, you have something it'll be in your packet. You'll have something like this at your event to say, hey, don't forget, you know, when we do movies in the park, we would talk on the microphone, don't forget to mark your calendar for this event, and don't forget, you know, do the survey. You have your phone right here. Go ahead and pull up our website. You can do stuff that while you have that attention of that audience right there. So we would do it that way as well.
Okay. Good deal. And last but not least,
The big one.
Yes, we put it on there, the Old Timers Festival. I've had a lot of people tell me what they like and they don't like about it. And so for this year, we're going to go ahead and go with September 12th as our date, and we're going to be working with the carnival that comes through. We're going to be partnering up and working with them this year. But the long-term goal is, once I kind of see how we're doing the setup and how everything works out, that we'll kind of rotate where we'll make it 1 year bigger on the music side and get more music and more of that element in there, and then maybe every 2 or 3 years. I mean, I don't want to say anything right now, but start looking at rotating it so the people that may have missed this element will have it back, and then we'll figure out what works best. But like I said, this has been for me being the new guy, everyone's had an opinion on this one event. So I'm trying to make sure I can filter it in. I mean,
you're fixing to hear it here in just a minute.
Yeah, it's you know, doing this to the public, we want to make sure we get everyone's input, and we want to make the best accommodations that we can. But at the same time, sometimes we can't do it all, you know, due to cost or due to weather or due to, you know, there's a lot of elements involved. But going in, the hardest thing about event planning is if you don't put a date down and you don't put advertisement down, you're not going to get people to show up. And you'll see that on our social media and with our posters and all that, we're trying to secure dates with at least a year out in advance would be my goal. But here we're doing at least six to 8 months out. And we start advertising because to kind of go off what you were asking earlier, in Clarksville, people would always tell me there's nothing to do in Clarksville. You could call me a bad name. I wouldn't get mad. But if you told me there's nothing to do in Clarksville, I would get mad. And that's how I feel here. Is I want to make sure that people know we're doing what we're doing, and they can't have an excuse. Well, Laverne's not doing this, or they're not. We're going to be pushing that, and that's the same thing with Old Timers. We're going to keep pushing that.
You got to keep Smyrna in your mind, because a lot of times we'll run a function, and Smyrna's got the same thing going.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to check with them. Antioch, I don't think there's too much going on up there.
Yeah, that's something that we're gonna. That's why we want to get our dates out early, because then we can all kind of work together in that sense of working to try to work something out. But you know, you can't always win that battle.
With you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll work with you. They work with all of the other functions that we have. I don't think there's gonna be any problem, but just check with them.
Who's got questions about this before I start?
I'm just really excited to welcome you here. It sounds like you've got some very good ideas.
I'm trying. I mean,
I'm
that's,
sorry for your drive, though.
oh, it's okay. This is a community that really, to me, this is a lot of fun that we get to come together and do these events for this community. Not every city gets to have something like this, and they don't get to do them on this kind of scale. So to come in here and help and get to do all these events, I mean, this is like one of my dream opportunities. So,
You know, last year,
Clarksville?
what's that?
Do we have more in Clarksville?
Well, in terms of events, this is actually more. This is more than what we did in Clarksville. We just had more reoccurring dates in Clarksville. You know, movies in the park, we would do 8, and downtown market we did every Saturday from May through October. So there were just more reoccurring dates.
yeah, I wish we could get the market thing, but those people are just simply not available on Saturday. It's not that we don't want them here on the weekend, they're not available.
Well, and the good thing about some of our events is a lot of the contacts that we have are the same contacts that Robert has used previously.
Yeah.
Some of the market vendors, some of the vendors for our July 4th show, the fireworks people. So he's already got those relationships built. We don't want to get to a point where we think we're stagnant. We want to continuously move forward. We don't want to be satisfied with 2 movies in the park a year. We'd like to have one ideally every month from April through October, November. So, and I think that's doable if you offer that stuff. I think
So-
you're gonna fill the park up.
So going back, Robert, to Clarksville, did they do a lot of events or a few events like the movie in the park and stuff? Did they do anything during the week? And if they did they have any success?
Before I left, we started doing pop-up markets, and that's just during the week downtown market. Because they would say Saturday morning they have their kid's soccer game, they have something, they couldn't make it. So we tried it out, but the weekday stuff, it's very hard to catch people unless you're right there on the main road and we decided to start doing pop-up markets at our soccer practices because everyone was there. But to answer your question, though, while there was an events division and recreation had their own. They would do stuff during the week, but it would be an average of 20 to 30 people. Most of our events, 99% of them would be a Friday or Saturday.
So what about, so you did have Friday nights?
There would be some Friday nights. They wouldn't usually be as heavily attended as Saturdays.
Did you ever do anything like on Sunday afternoons or anything?
We did like an indoor market called Handmade Holidays, and that would be a Saturday, Sunday event. And that's during November. And Sunday would be from like 12 to 4 p.m., so it would be the after-church crowd. That's what we were trying to go for, so after church and come out and go shopping. And it was okay. We've done that for 6-7 years, and we cut the hours of operation down a little bit, but there was that was the only thing really we did on a Sunday.
So my first question is September the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the last weekend, and then we moved it up, and now we've moved it back 3 weeks. Why September 12th? I'm just curious.
September the 12th was the only date that the carnival was available, and if we wanted to bring a carnival, we had it the weekend after that, I think, originally, maybe the 21st, 19th.
Yeah, it was a week or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just curious about
But
the date.
to get the carnival back, that was the date that they were going to be available for us.
Which carnival is it?
Paradise Amusements,
They're pretty good.
yeah.
And
So we wanted to offer that element too, because you either like Old Timers Day the way it was, so we're trying to offer a little bit of everything. We're trying to keep that same element we had this year, just relocate it somewhere else throughout the park, but also bring the carnival in. So we're hoping that we can work something out with the carnival on that Saturday, that they don't start until 1 or 2 o'clock, to give our food vendors the opportunity.
that was my next question. If on Saturday it didn't start till 2 or 3 o'clock,
Yep.
by that time, most of the vendors are beat down. But then again, so as far as the city goes, as far as paying people to work there, if you agree to do that, then that means you're gonna have to have employees from 6 in the morning till what time at night?
To work the carnival?
Yeah,
No, they're self-contained. They do all of it. I think they work a deal out with finance where they get a percentage of their ticket sales, but as far as us, we don't have to do anything for them. So all we would be here, actually, we're gonna try to, Old Timers Day by 3 or 4 o'clock, everybody's burned out.
everybody's burnt, and I'd agree, yeah.
So we're looking at maybe shortening that time from 10 to 3:30. That way, it'll give our food vendors and everybody time to enjoy the day, and the carnival not start up until a little later, maybe 2. That way, the people that want to come from the carnival can catch a little bit of both of it.
I can live with that. I think that's a good idea. What about,
See, last year, our food vendors, 2 of them ran out of food at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, and, technically, you're not supposed to leave until it's over. Well, we couldn't see holding their feet to the fire and making them sit there for 2 or 3 hours with no product. So hopefully this is a happy medium, because everybody's wore out by 3:30 anyway.
and what about the carnival will be there like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or what?
They usually roll in the Sunday previous. They like to be up and running by Wednesday. I think Wednesday is generally their first day. Saturday night, they shut down whenever it starts slowing down for them. Could be 11 o'clock, could be midnight. Several years ago, I think it went to 12:30 or 1. It just depends on what kind of crowd they have, and then they generally start packing up and heading out on Sunday morning.
All right. I think that's all I have. Anybody got any questions or comments or anything?
I'm very impressed with all the answers you've been given tonight, Robert.
Thank you.
Kathy can tell you I've been bending her ear off, talking about how we can get better outreach for these kind of events and programs. So now having you on staff officially, we'll be in touch.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, my background, again, Parks and Recreation, it was events, but I did stuff, Parks and Recreation and stuff for City of Clarksville. I did stuff for our mayor, stuff for our department. So almost every event I've covered. I mean, I ran a festival to doing something like the movies in the park and downtown markets as well. So across the board, I don't want to say I've done it all, but it's pretty close to it.
Yeah, we weren't trying to put any pressure on Robert, but he came in knowing that events was the backbone of the department, so he's under the gun.
And I like the analysis approach. You're going to observe things the way they have been or the way they've been proven well in the past. See where you can fill the gaps to improve year over year. I approve of that. I definitely like that.
Yeah, this is a new community for me, and what I can say works in Clarksville, it's not going to be the same here. So that's my approach. Is I want to make sure when I do this, I kind of just sit back and study it, and then once I get my information to improve and make it better. I'm a big believer we can always make something better. We can find ways to improve it, and we will, and we'll keep making sure we have one of the top. My goal is to have the top events in Tennessee.
Just put in your head a polar bear plunge at some point for some good cause. I want to see that. I want to take pictures of that, not jump in the water.
We could take advantage of that lake access.
That's exactly right. A big old lake out there.
I wanted to welcome you also, Robert, and actually this is my second meeting with you because I'm Deborah on the pageant committee. I didn't get to see you face to face, so a pleasure meeting you face to face. So I did want to ask, we previously had music in the parks. Are there no plans for doing that this year, or what were the thoughts on that?
We plan to do some music in the park. We just haven't got a date set for them yet. We're trying to hammer out these other things.
Okay, so
Usually that's something we'd like to get it out there at least 2 months in advance, but that's generally done during the warmer weather anyway. So I think if we've got something set, several dates set by April, I think we'll be in good shape.
and then, let me see, and I'd like to also add on that because I like all different types of music that one of my big visions in the future is to add different types, not just one type of music to attract, but to attract different cultures. I would like to see different things go on like that to make it more diverse. Also, two more things I wanted to ask. Another thing that I would like to, well, this is just some input, because you said some things that just hit home with me that I totally agree about. And one of the things that I feel very strongly about is community input. I have said for a long time, I'd like to see somewhere that we have exit surveys, that we have incorporate community input, whether it be our ball programs, have surveys available. Did you ever do anything like that in Clarksville? Because I know a lot of municipalities do that. They have access available on websites. Just curious if you have any experience, or have you ever tried doing that?
Oh yeah, it's easier to do it when you have a controlled event. There was an event we did called Chocolate Affair, and it was a ticketed event, and it was 600 people guaranteed. So we took their email addresses, and at the end we would email them and get their feedback. Movies in the park, unless they're signing up their email, we're not getting that feedback. So we have to find a way to get people to sign up for it while they're on the site. And sometimes it's hard to do if you're the only person there trying to run the event and trying to get that information. But we have done that for plenty of events in Clarksville. And we have used that information to help grow and change the event as well.
Okay. Well, sounds great. Thank you very much. I'm glad to have you here with us.
Anybody else? Okay, the next board meeting is the 16th of March, 6 p.m. That'll be after the meeting at the library with those folks, so we should have a lot to talk about. Other than that, I don't have anything, so I will call this meeting adjourned.